Have you ever felt incredibly excited about a new plan, only to lose motivation the more you talked about it? Simon was a young man living in a small village, always carrying many big dreams in his heart. Time and again, he came up with promising plans. Sometimes he wanted to open a large shop, other times he wanted to learn pottery, and at one point, he even dreamed of building a beautiful house. Every new idea filled Simon with excitement. But instead of quietly getting to work, he had a habit of telling everyone about it first. He wanted the villagers to know what he was planning, and he longed for their attention, praise, and admiration. Every time Simon shared his plans with the villagers, he was met with praise, encouragement, and admiring looks. Those positive reactions made him feel incredibly happy, as if he had already achieved something great, even though he hadn't actually started. This sense of early recognition quietly tricked his mind into believing he had already made significant progress toward his dreams. As a result, when he returned to the actual work, he no longer had enough motivation or energy to continue. The initial excitement quickly faded, replaced by feelings of exhaustion and boredom. Gradually, Simon fell into a cycle: talk about it, receive praise, then give up, without realizing that the real cause lay in his own habit. And that was exactly where Simon's journey of failure began, because he spent more time talking about his dreams than truly living for them. One evening, after countless failures had piled up and left Simon feeling lost, he sat quietly by the village well, his heart heavy with frustration. At that moment, an old man known for his wisdom but few words walked over and sat beside him. Noticing Simon's sadness, he gently asked, "My son, what troubles you so deeply?" Simon lowered his head, his voice filled with disappointment. "I have so many dreams, but I've never been able to complete anything. I don't understand why I always start, only to give up halfway." The old man thought for a moment, then asked, "When you come up with a new idea, what do you usually do first?" Simon answered without hesitation, "I tell everyone. I want them to know what I'm going to do, and I enjoy the feeling of their support." The old man smiled, his eyes thoughtful. "Come see me tomorrow. I'll give you an answer." The next morning, he led Simon to his small garden. He handed Simon 2 seeds and told him to plant one in the soil. With the other seed, the old man raised it high and called people over. "Look, this seed will grow into a beautiful tree." Then he placed it on a rock under the open sky. Days passed. The seed buried in the soil quietly sprouted and grew little by little, nurtured in silence. Meanwhile, the exposed seed slowly dried out, weakened by the sun, and eventually disappeared. The old man turned to Simon and said calmly, "Dreams are like seeds. They need silence to grow. If you expose them too early, you lose the strength needed to nurture them." At that moment, Simon had a realization. He understood that by talking too much, he had been draining his own motivation, causing his dreams to fade before they even had a chance to grow. From today on, try keeping your plans to yourself. Don't rush to share them while they're still unfinished. Focus on taking action every day and patiently nurture your seed. When the results are strong enough, they will speak for you. The real reason Simon kept failing was not because he lacked talent or didn't dream big enough, but because he was unknowingly draining his own motivation. Every time a new plan came to mind, he rushed to tell everyone about it so he could receive praise, attention, and a sense of recognition. Those reactions gave Simon instant joy and made him feel excited, as if he were already close to success. But that early sense of satisfaction became a trap. When he returned to the real work, he could no longer hold on to the fire he had at the beginning. The energy that should have gone into action had already been spent on words and temporary emotions. He began to hesitate, feel tired, and slowly lose interest in the very goal he had once been so passionate about. In the end, his dreams kept stopping at the level of ideas. Simon finally realized that the more he talked about a plan before truly starting, the more likely he was to lose the strength needed to turn it into reality. After truly understanding the old man's lesson, Simon decided to completely change the way he approached his dreams. He no longer ran around telling everyone about his big plans or waited for praise from others. This time, Simon chose silence. He set himself a small but clear goal to build a wooden chair that was both sturdy and beautiful. No one in the village knew what he was doing, and no one heard him talk about that plan. Every day, after finishing his usual work, Simon quietly returned to a small corner of his house, where there was only him, the rough pieces of wood, and the steady sound of tools tapping through the night. At first, nothing was easy. There were times when he cut the wood wrong, joined the pieces unevenly, and ruined parts that had already cost him a great deal of effort. In the past, Simon probably would have given up halfway through. But this time, he no longer wanted to live among unfinished promises. He patiently started over, fixed each small mistake, learned from every failure, and kept moving forward, even if the progress was slow. That silence helped him stay free from the distraction of other people's eyes, free from the pressure to prove anything, and free from the false satisfaction that comes from praise received too early. As the days passed, Simon could clearly feel himself changing. He was not only making a chair, but also rebuilding his perseverance, his focus, and his faith in himself. When the chair was finally finished, Simon sat down and felt a kind of pride he had never known before, not loud or showy, but deep and genuine. For the first time, he understood that real achievement comes only to those who know how to work in silence and persist in the path they have chosen. After many years of quietly working with persistence, Simon's life turned to an entirely new chapter. From the small items he once made like chairs and tables, he continued to learn, refine his skills, and gradually create more intricate, durable, and beautiful wooden pieces. The villagers no longer remembered Simon as the young man who only talked about dreams. Instead, they began to speak of him with respect, as a truly skilled craftsman. His reputation spread far and wide, and more people came to place orders, making his work stable and steadily growing. In the end, what Simon once only talked about became reality. He opened the largest furniture shop in the village, but this time, there were no loud announcements or early displays. His success was built on persistence, discipline, and countless days of silent effort. His shop was not just a place to sell wooden products, it was living proof of his transformation. On the day of the grand opening, Simon went to see the old man once again. He bowed deeply, filled with gratitude and emotion, and said, "Your words changed my life. Without you, I might still be living in words, without ever taking action." The old man simply smiled gently, his warm eyes reflecting a wisdom that had always known this outcome. Simon's story reminds us that success doesn't come from speaking well, it comes from taking real action. Keep your dreams in silence, and let your results speak for you. If you found this story meaningful, comment 9.